Hello and welcome back to Restore You. It is Angela and I am so excited. Today is my first official hashtag Thrifty Thursday video that Sherry from Turquoise Dreaming has done a collaboration, and I kind of got addicted and started watching all kinds of fun thrift haul videos, and I'd been doing so many, I was like, well, Sherry's pretty amazing, and I think I should probably participate with the rest of these ladies. And so here we go. So week one of my Thrifty Thursday. So if you type in the search button on YouTube, hashtag Thrifty Thursday, you can find hundreds of videos of thrift hauls, which I think are kind of fun to watch. So before we get started, a shout out to Maggie M, Hellenic, and Louisa. And I just want to thank you all and everyone else for subscribing and for supporting the channel and our Etsy shop and all that good stuff. I appreciate you very much. So let's get started because I have a couple things I want to show you. I try always to do some kind of how do you use it once I went shopping, because sometimes I pick things up and people are like, well, what are you going to use that for? So I have a couple things to show you. So I'll start with the really not very exciting things. And that was this bag of, I think there's 8 or 10 jumbo, 100 jumbo paper clips. And if you're a crafter, you can never have too many paper clips. So for $1.98, I thought that was a pretty good deal. I also picked up a deck of cards with the blue roses. I thought those were so adorable. Here, let me move over here a little bit. And then there was this vintage ribbon. It's got a little lace on the side, and it's a really pretty orange. Orange is one of my favorite colors. This just came, I think, maybe with the ribbon. It's just chunks of ribbon with words on it, but it will be awesome. This was $1.97. And first of all, it has to do with interior design, so that was kind of fun. But when I opened this up, I was like, oh my gosh, this would make a great binder / altered book. Because, first of all, the inside cover is super sweet. And I was like, well, you wouldn't have to really do anything. So this, what I think I will do, there's pockets. And on the back, they are blank. So there's quite a few pockets, and there's some in the back that are extra. So a lot of them with pretty designs. And then each of them have a tab, so I thought I could cover those and make something fun. There's also some grid paper that I could just leave as is. This makes an interior designer's heart happy. These are little pieces with, so this is what you would use on the grid paper and kind of plan your room based on your dimensions of your room. So those will all probably pop out. But I thought I would just cover these pages and then turn it into some kind of fun journal. And I really like working with binders. For me, they take longer than most. But I do like to work with them because they're so pretty in the end. This was an envelope that came to me in the mail, but I thought it was cute. Cute Christmas idea. At the same thrift shop, where did I get these at? My last haul was my last trip. Oh, it was on my way to Omaha, and I didn't have really that much success, honestly, as I had before in some of these new thrift shops that I had stumbled upon, but I did pick up a few things. So these are gold doilies. I honestly didn't have any of those, so that was awesome. A little pad of science paper, so grid paper. And then I love using these for a couple reasons. One, I love the color of these files, and the other is that they're really nice chipboard, so they make great covers, they make great folios. So I picked up a couple of those. They were 98 cents for both of them. And then I thought I would show you this. So this was from another, I went to go get my hair cut, And so I stopped into a thrift shop in the little town that I go to, and they had an entire box, like the great big computer size box, a ream of this. They used to use it in printers, and it would feed this way. And these in themselves make great fun embellishments and trims, and you can distress them, and then you've got all of your paper that you can coffee dye or whatnot. So these will go in bundles with a couple of other things that I will tell you about, some envelopes and such, in the Etsy shop, because I mean, there's, like I said, an entire ream of this, and you all need to have some of it for sure. And then, as always, these were 97 cents, never opened, file folders, and you all know how useful these are for your projects, so I picked those up. Then, on my way to Omaha last weekend, I mentioned that we had a little girls retreat at our home in Springfield. I needed to get gas, and I stopped along the way in what town was that? Adair, Iowa, I believe. And something sparked my memory, and I was like, I think there's a little antique store back here. So I popped in and visited with the gal for quite a while. As you know, I collect flower frogs. So I picked up one that was yellow. It's just basic, glass flower frogs. So if you're not familiar, flower frogs were used. They would put them in the bottom of a vase, and then the stems would go inside. I have a lot of them, not a yellow one, so I picked that one up. But this is pretty basic. And then this one I thought was really unique. So depending on what size vase you have, you can kind of manipulate it a little bit to fit. And it's almost like it's on a chain. And then those are what the little pokies look like. So then you put your stems inside of there. I just thought this was really cute. Now, I have used these for different ones, the pokey ones, for name cards on a tablescape. I use them for what they're intended. I use them for pencils and such, but I love them. And then I found this adorable book, A Trip to Paris. I don't remember what... This person got it in 1960, so I'm thinking it's 1960s. 1959. But aren't these these images beautiful? I love the bright colors. And I love that there's French and English together. I had to have it. And it was very inexpensive. So very much worth it. So those were from a little... Oh, look at that. I love to do watercolors painting buildings. Maybe I should just try that one for fun. But that was a fabulous find. I love it. I don't know if it's one I'm going to be able to use in my journals because I like it so much. But we shall see. Okay, so now I have a couple things I want to show you in the end because I'm going to show you how to use them. But in the meantime... During our little girls' retreat, we went to the town that's right across from where we live called Louisville, Nebraska. And they have a collective of businesses that have really work well together, and they're striving to have, some exposure and getting more people to the small little town. And there's so much. It's a quaint town. There's fun restaurants. There's a cute little bar restaurant, and then a lot of shops. And so the girls and I took a little trip. I stopped by the new quilt shop in town, which I hadn't been to. It's called Around the Spool, and Kevin and Dawn just opened it, I think, a year ago, maybe, and I had not yet been in. But we got to visiting, and he, of course, when you go to a quilt shop, they're like, oh, do you quilt? And I'm like, no. And then we talked about Mo, and her, quilting. But I said, I do use a lot of fabrics and paper crafts and mixed media. So he's like, well, then you need to see this little area over here. And so he led me to the scrap area, and I picked up a lot of fun fabrics. And, he was just a neat guy. He was over there just cutting away and visiting with me. I'm like, how do you talk and cut at the same time? I guess it's no different than us, but this was one of my favorites. Like, oh, so pretty. So a little Christmas and then just some alphabet. And they were just really inexpensive. And then I got some quilt blocks. There's 4 of them that are that design and 2 of them that are this design that I thought were really precious. They kind of remind me of hankies or scarves, so I picked all of those up. And then there's another little shop. I had to show you guys this because you know how I squirrel all the time. I'm like, well, I have to have this t-shirt. So this was from a little boutique called TGB in Louisville, so I picked that up. Isn't it cute? I might have to wear that today. I just had to show you. So those are from our little trip to Louisville. So if you're ever in Nebraska, you let me know and I will give you all the fun places to go. All right, so let's talk envelopes and cards. I found this, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then some not in the bag coin envelopes. And there's a lot of them, all red. These will probably go in some of my ephemera kits because they're really heavy. They're really great. But you can use them for so many things, for Valentine's Day, for Christmas, for what they're intended if you're doing Asian inspired journal. So lots and lots of fun to do with that. And then these just came from the same thrift shop that was on my way to Omaha. And I picked these up mostly because they looked very, I mean, these are not old, but they are vintage inspired, but I liked the envelopes the most. So they're all the same little girl on the front. So I got those, and then I picked up, I saved this so I could show you. I picked up a stack of these kind of manila colored envelopes, and they're cool because they've got kind of a neat bluish gray color inside, which I didn't know that when I bought them, but when I opened them up, I was like, oh, that's fabulous. So just a couple of things. I always buy loose envelopes that are different sized. I don't usually buy the ones that cards come in, but here's just a couple things while I was having my coffee this morning that I just whipped up so I could show you. So this is like a mini folio. These envelopes they're quite long. So for most of my journals, they probably wouldn't work unless they're like maybe one of my binders or something, because they're 9.5 by 4 and like 1/8 maybe. So most of the time I would probably cut them down, but this one I just tucked one inside the other. I haven't glued those yet, and made just a mini folio. So that's one thing you could do with that. This one, let's see. Oh, this one is the one where I cut the top off, and then I cut it at where it started to go down that line, and right there, and pop this little guy out. And now I have 2 tucks. So I can and it still has that design on it. I can embellish it. I can do all kinds of fun things. And now I've got 2 little pockets. And then the last one I did, I just cut it. It was like this. I just cut it in half. And on this one, I glued everything together to make myself a pocket. And I can just put a tab in there. I like this, that it's got the lines on it. So let's see. I'll just make a little tab on it now. So there's that one. And then this one, I took the flap, glued it inside, and left this. So now it is a pocket in itself. And then you could, glue it on, or you could glue just this to itself, and then you'd have a tuck here and a tuck behind it. So just a few things that I thought you might be interested in and how I use those. Let me put this in the scraps. Okay, and then the final one, this I paid $1.25 for. And they end up being 5x7 cards when you fold them in half. No envelopes, just the cards. So, again, while I was watching a couple videos and having fun with my morning coffee, I just whipped up a few things using them so you could kind of see what, if you find these along the way, that you should pick them up. So this one, I just folded it in half, and then I folded it up about 1 3/4 inches. I cut the V out in the middle, and now I have a small little folio. I could use this on an entire piece like that and make a double pocket. I could do all kinds of fun things. So that is another way that you can use the, you know, regardless of the color. I like this one because it was the craft paper, but the way that you can use like discarded, somebody else didn't want them, so why not? This one, let's see, what did I do with this? Oh, this I thought, well, it could be used for an envelope. So I just folded that in half. It could also be used as a little folio, and all I did was just creased it here. This was the middle, so I just kind of figured out where I wanted it if it were an envelope, and then just folded it in half. Easy peasy. Let's see, can I zoom in just a smidge? There we go. All right, now I got to be up here. Okay, so 2 ways you can use those. This is just that card folded at halfway in between. It's just folded into the middle. So that's about not quite 2.5. 2.5? I think that was 2.5. But these make great, like, you can just glue back here and down here and up. So now you have a pocket here, but then you can open this up. You can either use it for writing, you can embellish it, whatever your little heart desires. So that's another way you can use your craft paper. This one, what did I do? Oh, all right, so this is just a normal one, right? And then I took another one. So the intent was this could fold up, or you could just use it on an entire page. And by covering and gluing, you can have 2 tuck spots and then 2 additional pockets here. So all I did basically was folded it to the center. And this one on camera is probably not going to be perfect, but you'll get the idea. So I just folded each side of the page to the center point. Like I said, this isn't going to be exactly perfect. And then I just folded it up. And there you have it. It's like a little paper hat without the paper hat. And then you can just use that. You can embellish it, decorate it, and now you have an extra spot. And the nice part about this is craft paper, so it's quite heavy. Durable. And then the last thing that I did, whoa, I'm losing stuff, was I did 2 folios. So this is just a normal card. It's 5x7 when you fold it up. So let's see if you can see this. So this is this center score that came as is. And so I just did a 1/4 inch score and a 1/4 inch score on either side so that it would nicely fold together. And now I have a pocket. So I could make a mini journal and sew in a signature. You could use it as a fun card. You could put pockets and all kinds of fun things. I think we'll probably decorate some of these when we do some of our other projects, since I already whipped them up. And then the last one is a humongo fold out. And I just did this morning because I wanted to have a sample to show you. But this is my very favorite. You know, it's med tape, and it's what Dave keeps in his med bag. I had taken enough of his that I thought I should probably replenish it. So I did buy a bunch on Amazon, and I do have that in my To Restore You essentials on our Amazon shop because they are great. So all I did was folded this one in half. I left just about 1/8 of an inch between the next card and put my tape, which is really indestructible. So this tape is great. And then I just did, let's see, another one and put it on this. So this is 3 cards. Let me zoom out. There we go. So card number 1, card number 2, and then here I did the same scoring as I did on the single one so that I could sew signatures in. And now I have a little lap book, like a mini lap book, which would go inside of a journal, could be sent as a gift. Lots and lots of opportunities. And for, what did I say, 50 cents? And I have, I don't know, 100 sheets of this. I mean, I could just do projects for a year just using this stack of paper. Okay, maybe not a year, but for a long time. So I hope you enjoyed my first hashtag Thrifty Thursday video. I will be back this week with some more fun, some more projects. And I think I'll put a few of these aside and we'll just embellish them along with what we're going to do and just have it a craft with me kind of day. But until then, remember to take time to just be, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.